Okay, lesson 190, Basic Bible Certificate, is from Adam to Moses, the genealogies discussed in Genesis chapter 5 and chapter 10. First, we have 10 generations from Adam through to Noah, and they can be explained by this diagram. Adam lived for 930 years, and when he was aged 130, his son Seth was born. Seth means substitute. Cain killed Abel, and Seth was given as a substitute. He is a picture of Jesus Christ as our substitute. And so Seth, substitute, when Adam was 130, he was born, and he lived 912 years, and then he died. And when he was aged 105, his son Enosh was born, and Enosh lived 905 years. And when Enosh was 90, his wife gave birth to Canaan, and Canaan lived for 910 years. Canaan's son Mahalalel, he was born in the 70th year, and he lived for 895 years. And when he was 65, his son Jared was born. Jared lived 962 years, and when he was 162, his son Enoch was born. And Enoch walked with God, and God took him. And Enoch, he was taken to heaven at age 365 without dying. And here's a picture of the church being raptured before the tribulation. He was taken to heaven before the flood, and the church will be taken to heaven before the tribulation. And so, when Enoch was 65, his son Methuselah was born, and Methuselah means when he is dead it shall come. And Methuselah lived 969 years, and notice he died exactly the year that the flood came. And that maths works out perfectly. When Methuselah was aged 187, his son Lamech, meaning conquering king, was born, and Lamech lived 777 years, and he died a few years before the flood. When Lamech was 182, his son was born, whose name was Noah. And Noah built the ark, which is a ship, and his three sons were Shem, Ham and Japheth. Japheth was the elder, Shem was one who the Persians, Elam was his eldest son of Shem, and the Jews, Israel came from Shem, as did Abraham. And so Noah was aged 600 when the flood came, and he took his sons and wives on the ark. Now his son was Shem, and so we asked the question, how many years from Adam to the flood? What we need to do is to add the numbers of years from the birth of each person here to how old they were at the birth of their main son. So you add up this, 130 plus 105 plus 90 plus 70 plus 65 plus 162 plus 65 plus 187 plus 182 plus 600, and you get 1,656 years from Adam, creation date, to the flood. The flood occurred 2418 BC, and today is 2019 is here. So how many years from the flood till today? 4436. So the oldest living tree should be less than 4436 years, correct? So let's have a look over this page here. Okay, we asked the question, how old would the oldest living trees be? This is talking about trees that were planted after the flood. As the flood waters receded, trees were planted, trees grew, and we say of the trees living today, how old would the oldest living trees be, given this understanding of the flood being 4436 years ago? Well, the oldest living trees are California redwoods, and they are aged between 4,000 years and 4,400 years old. There's thousands of these in the mountains of California. And there are no living trees aged 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000, 20,000, which is what you would expect if evolution was true. So why are there no trees aged 20,000 years? Because evolution is garbage. Wrong, rubbish, all based on unproven dating assumptions. So why are there no living trees older than 5,000 years? Answer is Noah's flood destroyed every living tree and turned them to coal or petrified wood. Off the coast of South Africa there are over 800 billion, not million, 800 billion fish fossils in the Karoo beds. And Noah's flood explains these massive big fossil graveyards. Here you have also dinosaur graveyards where there's over 300 dinosaurs all buried in the one location in various parts of the world. Here you have the flood waters rising, animals, dinosaurs walk to a higher place up the hill and the waters keep rising, and at the point of their death they are all gathered together at the top of the hill, and then the flood waters come, a big wave of flood waters, the mud come and dumps the sediment on them, and they are all instantly fossilised. And we have this in many places in the world today. Now in Job 40 verse 15, this book of Job written possibly about 1700 BC, dinosaur is described called Behemoth, who moves his tail like a cedar tree. Sounds like a brontosaurus, doesn't it? Job 41:1, there is a sea dinosaur called Leviathan, and in 41:14 he has terrible teeth, and 41:19 it says fire comes out of his mouth. Interesting thought. We have many ancient legends of fire-breathing dragons, which was the name given to these creatures before dinosaur was given. Okay, now a second proof, a thing that Noah's flood explains, is the coal and oil formation. Coal beds and oil deposits formed all around the world. A third explanation of the flood is worldwide flood legends. There's over 120, possibly 200 flood legends around the world of a flood. Worldwide flood where people and animals survived in a boat, and all life was destroyed. And almost every ancient culture has that, which is what you would expect. And also the population of the world is perfectly in line with a 4,400 year timeline, because we know there's the average population growth per year, and if you look at today's population today of about 8 billion, extrapolate back about 4,500 years, you get to the time when there'd be the first parents. Then you have number 4, ancient Chinese writing describes Noah's Ark and the flood. And the ark, Chinese characters for an ark are 8 mouths in a boat. That's the word, Chinese word for ark. Number 5, there's so many underwater river channels which are 400 feet below the current surface level of the oceans. And number 6, there are at least 10,000 volcanoes that erupted and they sent dust into the atmosphere. Here you have the Earth and you have the volcanic dust in the upper atmosphere. The sun's rays would hit the dust and reflect, and that would create a much colder climate on the Earth, which would produce the Ice Age, which occurred after the flood. Pretty good? And as the volcanic dust dropped to the Earth, the temperature rose, the ice melted, and the world became warmer. And that may explain why people lived in caves to keep away from the cold. Number 7, we have many animals frozen to death in Siberia, like woolly mammoths, snap frozen, but indicating a temperature of about maybe minus 150 degrees centigrade. Very, very cold. Something very cold happened to snap freeze these animals. We have much sedimentary rocks formed by the flood. Maybe over 75% of the Earth's surface is sedimentary rocks. And many fossils have been quickly formed, such as this fish. I've got a fish fossil at home which is this size, and the fish is curved like that, indicating it has been deposited in a turbulent environment. Because if a fish normally dies, it floats to the surface, animals eat it, and it does not fossilise. And let's look at, and that's a tree showing the growth rings. Let's look at the next. Okay, let's look at the bad effects of evolution. Evolution says that there's no God and that everything happened by accident, but you try and get a chemist, a scientist, to go into a laboratory and make life, and you cannot possibly make it on purpose, So how could it happen by accident? In fact, oxygen in the atmosphere would stop evolution from happening. If ever an amino acid was formed by accident in nature, oxygen would come down and oxidise it or break it down to its components, methane, ammonia, CO2 and water. Just like oxygen you cut an apple, it becomes brown because of oxygen oxidising, breaking down the molecules. So the bad effects of evolution are it produces atheists, people who think there is no God. And these atheist people, they move on in their mental journey to become people like communists. Communists were atheists, are atheists. Nazis were atheists, that's why they could kill 6 million Jews and think it's okay. And the homosexual crowd, they're atheists. They think there's no God to judge them, but they'll get a nasty surprise one day. But they live 20 years less on the average. So, and then World War II was caused by evolution. Germany thought they were the fittest race, and as a result they declared war to wipe out the other nations. And as the Cold War as well, that was caused by the communist Soviet Union. Now we see some of the bad effects of evolution. Number one, people who believe evolution have no idea of right or wrong, no morality. They do whatever they feel like doing, and they are what you call a reprobate mind. They call right wrong and wrong good evil and evil good. Number two, evolution produces atheists who are anti-Christians. It produces communism, it produced World War II. Germany thought they were the fittest race and they should destroy the Jews and other races who were inferior, so they said. And survival of the fittest is the basis of evolution. And so this is very false, because consider this question. Which animal is stronger and more likely to survive, a lion or a sheep? Well, a lion is stronger, isn't it? And so you would say that there should be a lot more lions in the world today, and because lions would kill off all the sheep. But are there more lions or more sheep in the world today?
Sheep.
There are more sheep. Why are there more sheep in the world today?
Because the humans they support the sheep.
Humans protect the sheep. And this tells us that humans and sheep and lions were all created at the same time. So, but a silly evolution says that lions and sheep evolved about 50 million years ago and man evolved about 2 million years ago. So this would leave us 48 million years for lions to wipe out the sheep without man to protect them. And so why did lions not kill all the sheep over 48 million years? It's because there's no 48 million year period. It's made up by the deceived evolutionists. And the answer is no such thing as 48 million years difference. And number two, man and sheep were created together, and man protected sheep from day one from lions and wolves and alligators and all these other predators. And so how many abortions occur in Australia each year, babies killed every year? About 100,000. That's evil. And that's why do they do it? Because in the medical school they teach evolution, and they don't want the doctors having a guilty conscience about killing babies, so they teach evolution. And so, okay, so we asked this question, why do doctors kill 100,000 babies per year? It's for two reasons. Number one, because they believe in evolution and they're atheists and they think there is no God to punish them. But the Bible says they're going to be sent to the lake of fire, murderers, okay, for killing people. Number two motive that doctors use to kill babies is money. So we asked the question, how much money does a doctor get from killing a baby? Probably between $2,000 and $5,000 per baby that he kills. Now, you can understand if he believes evolution, he has no conscience, he will be quite happy to kill babies for $5,000 a time. And that's why we have so much murdering of babies in this country. Because there's people without a conscience who hate the idea of God judging them, and their excuse is evolution. So this culture we have in Australia has been poisoned by evolution. So you have so many people who do terribly wicked things because they have this idea of survival of the fittest, and babies not so fit, doctors are fit, they can kill the babies. And they get money out of it, and there's no God to judge them, you see? That's their evil mindset, okay? So we need to show people why evolution is wrong. And that's another lesson, okay? We've seen some of it now, but there's more to it. Thank you kindly. God bless.